For the month of April, the Memphis .NET User Group will still be meeting virtually. We are going to do a workshop that will introduce attendees to ASP.NET Core 3.1. The target audience is anyone who has never used ASP.NET Core. You should have some experience with C# and know how web applications work, so some basic knowledge of HTML and CSS will be assumed. This video will demonstrate what software you need to have installed in order to join the workshop. Note that while this video shows how to get everything running on Windows, if you are on a Mac or even Linux, you'll still be able to get all of this software and for free. Things will look a little different between platforms, but all the code will be the same. First, you'll need to install .NET Core. Open a web browser and navigate to .net.microsoft.com. Click on the Download button. The page will recognize the platform you are on and suggest appropriate downloads. On Windows, make sure to download .NET Core and not the .NET Framework. The .NET Framework is available only on Windows and has some slightly different APIs from .NET Core. Instead, download the .NET Core SDK version 3.1 as shown here. For Mac OS, there is only one choice. On Linux, it depends on which flavor you are running. Consult the documentation shown here for the details. After the installation is complete, you'll be able to open a command line and run .NET. This is the .NET Core command line tool, and you'll be using it a lot in the workshop. Next, go back to the browser and navigate to code.visualstudio.com. Visual Studio Code is a lightweight, cross-platform, open-source, and free text editor that is inspired by Microsoft's flagship developer environment, Visual Studio. But Visual Studio runs only on Windows. While there is a version that runs on Mac, it has major differences from the Windows version. And Visual Studio doesn't support Linux at all. So you'll use Visual Studio Code in the workshop, and I think you'll find it quite capable. To install it, the page will once again suggest an appropriate download based on the platform it detects. Be sure to install the stable build and not the Insider's build. The Insider's build includes preview features that are not quite ready for prime time and may not work properly and could even crash. After the Visual Studio Code installer completes, open the editor. Click on the Extensions icon on the left to open the Extensions pane. Search for C#. This extension will add tooling to Visual Studio Code to support IntelliSense and other features when working with ASP.NET Core and .NET Core projects in general. Install the extension by clicking on the green Install button. Once more, go back to the browser. Go to github.com/.net-presentations/ASP.NET Core-app-workshop. This GitHub repository contains sample code and resources that you will make use of during the workshop. Click the green Clone or Download button on the right, and then the link to download a zip file with the contents of the repository. Unzip it in the location of your choice. Finally, you'll need Microsoft Teams to be able to access the workshop. It can be accessed using just a web browser, and there is a desktop app that, like Visual Studio Code, runs on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, and is free to download. To download the desktop app, go to teams.microsoft.com/downloads. And that's it. You're ready for the workshop. Make sure to go to meetup.com and RSVP for the virtual workshop at bit.ly/mem.net-apr2020 to get instructions for obtaining the link to the Microsoft Teams meeting. If you have any questions, please direct them to our Twitter handle, mem.net. We look forward to seeing you on April 23rd at 6 p.m. Central Time.